In this clip, you're going to see a cop. He's going to become completely unhinged, and he's going to brutally and viciously slam a woman to the ground as she's torture cuffed.
It started with a DUI crash investigation, and the woman was brought to the police department. Throughout their interaction with this woman, the video that we're seeing for the first time appears to show the woman go back and forth with officers, but then it took a turn. Take a look. This is the moment a DUI crash investigation by Ormond Beach Police turned.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at the whole situation. The woman who is part of a DUI investigation, so she could be drunk or she could be pissed off. She's being arrested when she's not drunk. But the point is, she yells at him, and the cop, he answers and reciprocates that anger, only she's in torture cuffs, so he grabs her and slams her to the ground. The irony of what police have become, they have become the butt of the joke. If you're a cop, you are the butt of the joke. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is because you agreed to follow these policies, these procedures, and these protocols, and that means you have become the bad guy. I wish it wasn't true. It is true. Now watch again as this cop becomes completely unhinged because this woman yells at him and he just can't say it. You see her over here? She's gonna yell.
This is the
She yells at him.
Moment a DUI crash investigation by Ormond Beach Police turned into an investigation into one of their own. New video shows the moment's former
So there she is. She's upset and she's giving him some sass.
Ormond Beach police officer.
See that?
Officer Jacob Cannon.
And this guy, look at his body shake as he yells in her face.
New video shows the moment's former Ormond Beach police officer Jacob Cannon threw a woman down, causing her to slam into the chair and
look at him lose his composure over someone screaming in his face.
Jacob Cannon threw a woman down, causing her to slam into the chair and a wall before she hit the floor. He's since been charged with felony battery and resigned from the police department. An arrest affidavit details Cannon initially tried to give police and fire EMS a different story, noting he told other officers the woman, quote, jumped up and went to charge out the room. He allegedly told fire rescue she slipped.
Why am I being in here?
You know, hold on a minute. Let's talk about this for a second. Let's watch it again. She says, "Why am I being put in here?" Do people need to be taken off the street sometimes? Sure they do. Do people need to be arrested sometimes? Sometimes people need to be arrested because they're so out of control from chemicals or whatever's going on in their life. Sure, sometimes people have to be taken out of society. I understand that. But her question is very valid. Why do I have to go in here? Why do you have to go into an all brick room with no access to, why can't you go to a regular lounge? Sit down on a chair or a couch with a phone and maybe a computer. Why do you have to be treated like this?
I'm being in here.
Why do you have to be locked in a room with a stainless steel toilet in the middle of the room? Why do you have to go to the bathroom in front of everybody? Why is that? Why is that? Why do we have to be treated like we are prisoners of war because you get arrested in this country? And if everything's arrestable, then everybody gets treated like this. And then they'll say, oh, you got to do it because I had to go through it too. No. This is brutal, inhumane, and barbaric. Why does she have to go in that room? Why does she have to go into that room right there? Why? Why can't there be a regular halfway house for people who are not a danger to themselves and not a danger to society? Once you get the car, once you pull them out of society and they don't have access to their car, they don't have access to any weapons, why can't they go to a regular apartment complex where they're locked into the apartment complex, but there's a bed, a couch, a soft drink, some water, a shower? Why do we have to be treated like this? These are fair questions.
reason on why.
Shannon McCree was arrested after investigators say she'd gotten into a crash and they believed she was driving under the influence. You can hear McCree insulting, and they believed.
Look what happened to her head from that cop. He slammed her. Take a look at her happened to her head. Yeah, that's what the cop did to her. Because take a look, the mark is not on her right here, but the mark is on her head right there. That's what the cop did to her. Are those stitches as well? Her face, her eyes are black and sunken in now. That's what that cop did to her.
She was driving under the influence. You can hear McCree.
So let's say she was driving under the influence. Let's say it. Put a 1 in the chat if you don't support drunk driving. 1 for me. I don't support drunk driving. Put a 1 in the chat if people who are drunk driving need to be taken out of society. 1 for me. They got to be taken out of society. Car has to be stripped away. They got to be separated away so they can't hurt anybody else because they took a chance drinking and driving, which kills people. And nobody puts up with that. Nobody wants that. Why does she have to go here though? Why does she have to go here? Why isn't there an alternative? Once the car is out of her possession, why can't she go to an apartment complex? Really? Why can't there be a gigantic apartment complex with a chain link fence that goes all the way around it with a razor wire at the top, if need be, and say, okay, until we go through the arraignment process, you're going to go here. Here's the key to your room. There's a bed there. You have a bunkmate. Her name is this. Here's the apartment. Here's the key fob to get in. Here's your cell phone. Why do we have to be treated like this? Why do we agree? Why, how come no one else has come up with this idea that we shouldn't have to be arrested and be put in a dungeon under lock and key under the most authoritarian jackboot thug pigs you could possibly find, just following orders?
Insulting Cannon, and the other officer, McCree, was arrested after investigators say she'd gotten into a crash and they believed she was driving under the influence. You can hear McCree insulting Cannon and the other officer as they prepare to give her the breathalyzer test.
Coward!
Instead of ignoring or de-escalating the situation, the video appears to show Cannon get physical. McCree suffered a gash to her forehead and required 7 sutures. Following the incident, the Ormond Beach Police Department released a statement apologizing to the woman and said in part, quote, "This incident does not represent the way we police our community."
Cannon is expected in court in August. I'll send it back to you live tonight, Randy Hildreth, Fox 35 News.
Why do we have to be taken to a dungeon? Why isn't there another alternative? And why do you have to be arrested right now in most situations? If the cop is going to order you out of the car, passenger, get out of the car, everything is on the trifold or on the cop card. It's really easy. When you open up the trifold, when it says get out of the car for the passenger, that's right here. But before you get out of the car, before you're just going to exit the car and let that copper demand you around. So right here, it says, if the passenger is ordered out of the car, get out of the car, passenger, Arizona versus Johnson, the spirit of the law is for officer safety. As a passenger, the cop may allege numerous reasons for fearing for their safety due to your presence. Exiting is a minimal intrusion. Refusal risks jail or harm. Exit with hands up while filming. State, I identify as good citizen. I invoke my First and Fifth Amendment right. No consent to searches or seizures. But before you show him this part, you want to say, hey, I'm going to get out of the car, but it's my right to film the police. I'm going to get out, but I'm going to be filming you the entire time. And read the bottom of this. Violating the First Amendment on camera removes the cop's qualified immunity. Our right to film police falls squarely within the First Amendment's purpose to protect free and robust discussion of public affairs, hold government officials accountable, and check abuse of power. So the 2-step approach, if you're filming already, then you can have the trifold or the cop card in your other hand. You can inform him, I'm going to get out of the car, but it's my right to film you. It says the exact same thing, step 1 on your Fifth Amendment cop card. Turner versus Driver upholds your First Amendment right to film the police. If you arrest me if you take my phone out of my hand, that violates my First Amendment right and you lose your qualified immunity. And the reason why you lose qualified immunity is because I've informed you that I've invoked my First Amendment right to be the press and I have a right to film you. You don't have a right to take my trifold and my phone out of my hand because you're scared. That's not how it works. My hands are up, they're nowhere near my waistband. You have to follow a real rigid process, or it could be you that we're making a video about tomorrow.